Bună ziua, Chișinău. That's about almost all I know in Moldavian, but I'll learn, I promise you. Noroc, that's another one I know. Anyways, you probably know, you've learned it from the childhood, that if there's something you cannot change, impossible to change, you think it's unchangeable and probably you give up. And there's always, if something bad happens, there are ways to change it. And actually, there are ways of using the bad luck that comes to you in communications, anything, in your business, in your career, to use it as a stepping stone for the next great achievement. So today, I have only like 15 minutes of your precious time and attention. So I'll probably jump right into the topic after I say great thank you to your support, coming here, supporting this huge conference. And great thank you to Artur Gureu and his team, and your applause to him, for inviting all these top-notch speakers, so those professionals, to this stage and the next room to share with you the knowledge. So today we're going to be talking about two-way online, offline communications and how you can actually drive not only City Hall, as I wrote here, towards important changes for the society, but almost any organization. It could be business, so it could be any type of organization. So the first problem I'm just going to tell you about is, I'm coming from Odessa, Ukraine. So we had this problem for years. This is a beautiful recreational zone. It's huge. It's like dozens of hectares of land, recreational land, park, on the slopes of the hill, right, where Odessa stands. And it runs all the way down to the seashore, Black Sea shore. And at some point, one of the mayors, previous mayors, he decided to sell part of it to build this horrible thing there. So basically, all the people, all the citizens, Odessa citizens, opposed it tremendously. All the social activists were working on it, but nothing was really happening because courts to which the citizens appealed, of course, were on the side of the shady business. And they were not helping, and they were actually trying to make it even more shady and impossible to change. So at some point, I got a call from Mr. whatever, X, his name is Alexei, let's call him, right? He's a mayor, he was a mayor of Odessa, and he said, Boris, I want to do, he loved PR. I want to do communications, I want to build my personal brand online, I want to use Facebook and stuff. And first I wanted to say no, because this guy was already not, let's say it clean, right, politically wise and money-wise and stuff. But then I thought, what if, on the back of my head, I thought, what if I can use this opportunity in order to change something huge for the city? He'll not even know about it, but I will use the process which I called later, this offline, online, repeating so as many times as it needed to create this feedback in order to achieve the result. In the first case scenario is actually to make this park a park and to forbid any huge construction there and to leave this for people that dozens of thousands of people that actually every day, every morning jog there, walk there with their kids and stuff. So what I used is his addiction to PR. He was not a very good mayor and people hated him. Most of people hated him, but he loved PR and he was very smart. He was his own PR man. A lot of people thought I was his political whatever consultant, but I was not at all. And basically, very soon, I explained to him how it's going to work. I said, there's going to be no politics, I'm not supporting you in anything, I'm just consulting you for the sake of the city and the image of the city, not you. He thought he was going to use me for his own, and he did use me to a certain extent, as he thought. But then he left in a year. And everybody said, thank you, Boris. I'm just kidding. So basically, he becomes very popular on Facebook, and he gets addicted to it very, very fast. He reads and comments everything himself. Of course, I was his like editor, right? Because he was sometimes doing some wrong things, right, in terms of social communications and stuff. But he really reads every comment, whether it's negative or positive. and he really becomes addicted to positive feedback. And he understands he can drive it with some small changes which become very valuable for people of Odessa. So basically, at some point in his committees in the city hall, he started using phrases like, people would say, oh, screw people, we don't really need to ask them anything. We can do this, we can build this, we can forbid them that. And he goes, no, 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 what people are going to say. And by that he meant what people are going to write in comments on my Facebook page. And he was growing so fast that all the other mayors from the cities, from the Kharkov and Kiev, were calling him on the phone and saying, how much are you paying your guys? You're growing like nuts. So he was doing a lot of things for his own PR. But on the back of my head, as I said, I was going to do something with this addiction to PR to help the city. So basically, when he gets more of those positive feedback and he understands he can actually control it by creating something, through a very thin network of people, through his secretary, through his consultants, I brought into his mind a thought that he might become the next historical figure of this city by saving the slopes of Odessa, this huge green park, recreational zone, from construction. If he brings it to court, if he's being really insisting on this, and he's going to get to the end and going to solve this for the city. And I didn't tell him directly. It was like internal communications. Finally, this thing got to him, and when I came and suggested this to him as a great PR case, he said, oh, I was thinking about it. It's great, you know. Usually, actually, women do this beautifully. Wise women do this in the families. They make men believe that he decided something, but this is a great way. I learned this actually from women, from great women. I learned a lot from women. Thank you very much. And basically, at this point, he said, yes, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to become the next like renowned historical mayor of Odessa. And he files a lawsuit against the construction. And then there's a revolution of dignity comes in. And the guy was the old style guy, right? The corruption, the whole thing. And he leaves because he understands he's going to be screwed. So he leaves, right? But the lawsuit is going on. And in 2015, the lawsuit was won. City Hall won this lawsuit. And now, today's mayor, I mean, they're gonna be building a park there. It's going to be a park. It's not going to be the thing I showed you before. Totally commercial project with no recreational activities in there. Of course, there were some funny things going behind it. Like people were saying, "Oh, this is all PR. He's full of shit." Honestly, they didn't believe him a dime. They knew that he was doing everything for his own PR, and they don't realize to that day that it was him who actually did something to change. But it doesn't really matter. My goal was accomplished. They were like, you see, like this, talking about him as like this superhero trying to save the slopes of Odessa. And the funny thing, he was doing a lot of, what he was known for, and he remembered for in the city, for his demolition of illegally built and constructed small structures. So they called him the mayor sledgehammer, мэр кувалда по-русски. Вот так и назвали. But also what they remember him about is nobody actually remembered that he started this case. And they said, oh, it was totally PR. So everything they remembered him for is this cat and those funny animals. If you remember the uspokойся, ma'am, right? So that's all they remember. And he said he was in China. He said, oh, Boris, post these, please, those beautiful animals. I said, you know what's going to happen? Because I don't care, they're beautiful. So I posted them. I said, wow. And he got so many likes. And it was funny, but it was good. So I got him to do something that I thought was good for the city. And then he left. And the city told me, oh, Boris, thank you. Anyways, problem number 2. A well-known communication agency in Kiev designed a tourism logo for Odessa, which was horrible. You see, it's like the worst style design ever. Like small village somewhere under Urupinsk somewhere, you know, like this Pionierский лагерь, right? The pioneer camp type thing. And it was a huge name that the guy worked for Orange Revolution and stuff. Like, I will not tell you the name of the firm. It was like total disaster. The funny thing is the mayor, it was the mayor before the guy I was telling you about. They accepted the work and they paid for it from the city's budget. And though everybody in the city, the citizens, the designers, the marketers, the HoReCa, right, the hotels, restaurants, and cafes that are going to be using tourism logotype, they opposed it and they say no, they hated it. They said you cannot. If you know the great like Russian designer and his firm studio Artemy Lebedev, he wrote like in very harsh swear words about this piece of S, you know what I'm calling it. Really, you can come and read his comments on this. It's really beautiful, right? And all the media posted on this. So, but City Hall insisted, and Mayor insisted on using it, and actually they published a tour guide with a symbol, not listening to the citizens. So this was offline, right? So coming back to technique, taking something offline, the offline problem, big one. We took this to, of course, first of all, online. We brought it to Artemy Lebedev. He said it's horrible. He wrote about it. All the media took it. All the online media took it. And then we took all the people. One of the restaurateurs of the city, Savily Lipkin, if you maybe have heard of him, one of the several best restaurants in Ukraine and in Odessa, he was created by him. He took all the best designers in the city and best creative people, got them together offline for several sessions. We discussed it, the marketers and stuff, we discussed it. And then people created something, they posted it, and they brought it back online. Then there was this voting process. And then there was, again, offline voting process. At the same time, the offline voting process was going. If you see here, everybody came in the T-shirts with their own logo that they designed. So this is a designer who designed this is the logo that I actually proposed, my own. This is actually the logo that inspired Artemy Lebedev to create his own logo. So those are the first results, which look, I mean, a bit better, right, than this piece of whatever that I showed you before. And it was a mutual creative process that took 3 months, going back and forth between offline and online. And finally, that's the people, the Odessites were voting in restaurants offline also. So then we took it online, and Artemy Lebedev got so inspired by that anchor. You saw there's an anchor written with the letters Odessa, right? So he created another anchor, and he gifted this logo to the city. And that was the big victory of us, because he created something wonderful, and he gave it to the city, and now we use it today. And this is now, it's embodied in offline as a symbol, one of the symbols of Odessa, and it's used everywhere. Even politicians use it in their political campaign, skewing it a little bit. So basically, remember this little thing, it works like magic. You just there's a feedback creating. It's not just because you're just publishing something, then make a press conference. It's not about that. You bring the essence, you take the essence from offline problem, bring it online. There's a discussion, the essence grows. Then you take it back offline, another discussion, solutions come in, alternatives, and you bring it back online. And every time this essence grows and the whole thing starts to solve by itself. And then the solution comes like this one. So basically use it. I hope it will be helpful to you, and I'll be glad to answer your questions in the next 5 minutes. I have 2 minutes more for your questions. Thank you so much.